Hey, it's Tim with PT Progress, and in this video I'm going to share 9 of the best exercises you can do to help resolve shoulder impingement at home. Because when you have shoulder impingement, simple movements like putting on a coat or reaching in the cabinet, that can just cause extreme pain in your shoulder, and it could just get worse if you don't address it now. If you have shoulder pain right now, try this first exercise with me as we review the anatomy of the shoulder and explain why impingement happens in the first place. This first exercise is called a pendulum, or simply an arm hang. Allow your arm to hang at your side as weightless as possible, as this helps to open up the joint space at your shoulder. You can swing it like a pendulum or hold on to a water bottle to give a little distraction as you perform this for about 30 to 60 seconds. So in the clinic as a physical therapist, I generally find 3 main reasons behind shoulder impingement. 1, it can stem from mobility issues or weakness of the rotator cuff muscles, or even poor coordination with specific movements. And what ultimately happens with shoulder impingement is a narrowing of the space between the humerus and the acromion of the scapula. And that can be caused by poor posture when we sit, or if we're standing with rounded shoulders, because this brings our shoulders forward and internally rotates the humerus, which decreases that space in the shoulder joint. You'll also find that weakness of these rotator cuff muscles can be a key contributor to shoulder impingement, because the rotator cuff helps to seat the humerus in the socket, that ball and socket, whenever the arm moves. But if those muscles are weak, then you'll have other strong muscles like the deltoid start to compensate, which leads to poor mechanics and increased impingement. And this imbalance between the muscles of your shoulder can lead to poor movement patterns and decreased coordination, as well as that painful response that you're experiencing, which perpetuates inflammation and then further stiffness of the shoulder. Okay, I hope you've been doing that first pendulum exercise for that last minute to help relieve some pain in your shoulder. That's a great way to open up that joint space and to relieve some symptoms, especially if you're trying to find some immediate relief during the day or right before you go to bed. The second exercise is part of a series of stretches to address mobility issues at the shoulder caused by poor posture. The doorway stretch is an absolute must, especially if you have rounded shoulders when you're standing, or if your thumbs point inwards when your arms hang at your side. Place your arms along a doorway and then slowly turn away from the door. You should start to feel a stretch along your chest and the shoulder as you hold this stretch for 20 to 30 seconds. Perform this stretch on the other side as well and repeat 2 to 3 times a day. I also like to target the pectoral muscles bilaterally with this simple foam roller stretch. If you don't have a foam roller, you can roll up a towel and place it along the length of your spine, but by simply laying here with your arms extended into a T, you allow for gravity to help stretch your pec muscles. And when doing this, try to hold this position for 30 seconds and repeat it 2 to 3 times a day. Another one of my go-to mobility drills is to work on thoracic extension at a countertop. This movement helps to stretch the latissimus muscle, and it promotes extension at the thoracic spine. Since the lat muscle internally rotates the arm, this is a great stretch to perform for 20 to 30 seconds, 2 to 3 times a day, in order to promote better posture, which can be key for eliminating pain caused by shoulder impingement. For this exercise, you simply need a wall and a towel. And whenever someone comes into the clinic with shoulder impingement, I love showing them this exercise because they usually have a difficult time reaching overhead because of pain, but when you place your hand against a wall, it almost always allows you to slide your arm higher than you are able to do on your own. When you do this wall exercise, it can be helpful to turn your body away from the wall slightly, or to slide your arm up the wall at an angle, because this creates the most space at the shoulder joint. The key with this exercise is to only go up the wall as far as you can without any pain, and then lower your arm slowly, allowing the weight of your arm to rest into the wall. Eventually, you'll start to go further and further with your reaches, but start with 3 sets of 10 wall slides and practice this movement daily, increasing it through a pain-free range as possible. This next exercise targets a very important muscle called the serratus anterior. The first way to perform this exercise is at a countertop with your arms extended like you're doing a push-up. But instead of doing a push-up, think about pushing away from the countertop, then return to your starting position with your arms extended. It's not a big movement, but that's all you'll need to engage the serratus muscle, which helps to upwardly rotate the scapula when you're reaching into flexion. And without this tiny muscle, your shoulder is going to have a really hard time rotating as you reach overhead, which can lead to further impingement. Your goal should be to perform this movement pain-free 20 to 30 times a day. Another way you can target the serratus muscle is by performing a serratus punch in the supine position. Just lie on your back and raise your arm to 90 degrees then extend your arm towards the ceiling like you're performing a small punching motion. Just like the other exercise, it's not going to be a big movement, but it will do a great job in activating the serratus muscle. Start by performing 3 sets of 10 repetitions without any weight, then gradually increase resistance by adding a 1 or 2 pound weight to your routine. Now it's time to focus on strengthening the rotator cuff. This is key to your recovery, and if you're finding this video to be helpful so far, let me know by giving it a like below. Okay, the first exercise you need to master is the simple shoulder squeeze exercise. This is also called scapular retraction, and it's simply a matter of bringing your shoulder blades together. You can do this while you're sitting or standing, and the idea is to squeeze your shoulder blades down and back. You want to avoid shrugging your shoulders upwards because that activates the upper trapezius muscle, which isn't the muscle we're trying to strengthen right now. This is one of my go-to exercises because I find it really helpful as a way to relieve mid-back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, and even pain from shoulder impingement. Now that you know how to do scapular retraction correctly, we can focus on strengthening the external rotators of the shoulder. Start by rolling up a towel and placing it between your elbow and your body. This ensures that you will maintain a proper position as you perform the movement of rotating your arm outward against the resistance of a band. And like the other exercises, it's important to avoid pain and to move into a pain-free range, and if this movement is painful, try to modify by simply moving into external rotation without any resistance. And if this is still too painful or difficult to perform, you can try an isometric variation, holding your arm still against the wall as a way to engage the external rotators without any increased pain. Try to perform 3 sets of 10 repetitions of external rotation, or hold the position for 10 seconds if it's too painful to move through the range. Another great exercise to challenge this muscle group is called sidelying external rotation. Using the same towel under your arm, rotate your arm upwards towards the ceiling and return it back to the starting position. Think about spinning your arm smoothly within the shoulder joint, which should be free of pain or clicking or popping. Start this exercise by performing 10 to 15 repetitions without any weight, then gradually increase the resistance to 1 to 2 pounds as you perform 3 sets of 10 repetitions each day. This next exercise is called stick diagonals, and it uses a cane or a broomstick to help support your arm through as much pain-free motion as you can. Just like the other exercises, work through a pain-free range, supporting your arm with a cane as you reach into shoulder flexion. The diagonal movement encourages your shoulder to move into external rotation as well as flexion, and it uses gravity to help when you're positioned on a bed or a floor. As you start to experience less pain in your shoulder, you can try this exercise in standing and even progress to adding resistance with a resistance band. Try to perform 3 sets of 10 repetitions of this exercise each day. I'd love to show you the advanced exercises that I show my patients in the clinic, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss that video. Also, take a look at the description to get a free copy of the exercises that we covered today. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Keep making progress towards your goals, and I know you'll be successful. I'll see you in the next video.